Kuker, rated 1591. We're going to go with d4 here. f5. Okay, so black's playing the Dutch defense. So we'll play c4. I think I had a different web page open at the same time I didn't notice, so I think that might have been the issue with the lag. Okay, so g6. We're going to go with g3. Set up the bishop on g2. Get castled, and that's the plan here, at least. Alright, so both sides have played the opening fine here. Black's playing c6. He wants to play e5 at the right time. Like queen e8 and e5. I'm going to play bishop a3 here to slow down his e5 plan. If he plays e5 now, I pick up the d6 pawn. So he plays bishop d7. A better move for him is probably knight to e4, which is kind of a very common idea in this opening. But he plays bishop d7 instead. Whoops, why is the knight kind of frozen on a weird square? Anyway, so we'll play queen c2. e5 is still difficult for him, and that's kind of one of the main things I want to prevent here. Hey, Justin Zedley, thanks a lot for the follow there too. Hope you're enjoying the stream. Okay, goes knight h5. Not entirely sure the reason on this move. Maybe he wants to play f4? Maybe. If he does, we're just going to play e3 and slow that idea down. Just stopping my opponent's plans before kind of embarking on my own. At this point, his position looks kind of a little bit awkward, honestly. Not sure where he's going with all of his pieces here. We're going to centralize the rook and play e4 at the right time, maybe a little bit later. Not right now, but maybe a little bit later. h3. e4 next move, most likely. Where's he going? Okay, b5 makes some sense. He threatens the move b4, which would be pretty bad. Am I playing 3-2? Yeah, it's 3-2. 3-minute with 2-second increment games. We're just going to retreat the bishop here, I believe. He can play e5 now. If he wants to. Okay, so there it is. We're going to capture. He's going to take back, and then we're going to play e4 anyways. I believe this is the idea. He plays f4, and we are playing g4. We're shutting up the king side here. And then we're going to go with a different plan from this point. We're going to go with queen to d3. Threatening to maybe take this pawn or something like that. If he puts the knight on one of the b4 or c5 squares, we're going to play queen d6. Okay, so we're playing queen d6 here, jumping in his position, threatening the knight and threatening the pawn on e5. You can't really defend both very well. So we're going to pick up at least a pawn here. With queen takes e5. So queen d6, just kind of a basic fork of the knight and the pawn there. Now we're up a pawn. And also maybe the f4 pawn is weak at some point. So where is he going with his pieces? His best move, he might have some ideas involving moving the knight and then attacking my queen. Knight takes e4 or g4, potential ideas, but I don't think either of them worked out in that specific spot. Now I can take the pawn on f4. I can also play knight g5, and his queen is in... his queen has to go back to e8 pretty much. I think just taking this pawn, though, is probably the best way. We're just going to pick up another pawn. He threatens knight to d3, which is not something we really want to allow. So we're going to play queen to e3, attack the knight, and guard the d3 square. queen moves. And now I think we have a fairly simple move here. Just bishop a3. Bishop a3 pinning the knight to the queen. And it's not easy to guard this knight either. There's really no good way to defend it anymore. If he tries to take the pawn, I'll just take back and I'll be up a piece at least. So it looks like he's at least losing one piece here. Not sure how Black can really save himself at this point, unfortunately. And we'll analyze the game and see where Black kind of went wrong in this example. Okay, b4 doesn't really change much. We still take it, and the knight is still pinned. Okay, this doesn't really change a whole lot either. We're still picking up the knight that's pinned on c5. Okay, still doesn't change anything. Now we also are skewering the queen to the rook, picking up the rook next move. Yeah, so that's pretty much over at that point. All right, so we'll analyze it a little bit here. So the opening is actually played fine by both sides. All of these ideas are very, popular in this opening. Bishop a3 is the idea is to slow him down from playing this e5, which he's pretty much setting this up with queen e8. Queen e8 and then e5 is the idea. Oh, post like, hey, let's see. You're 1731. Can we play soon? Let me get up to about 1600, which will probably be fairly soon today, and then we can play. Trying not to play too high above my rating, just so I don't gain too many points too quickly. And you're about 200 points above me right now. So let me get to 1600, and then I'll play you today. I play bishop a3, so if he does play e5, now we just take the d6 pawn. Without him playing e5, his position is kind of suffering a little bit. The most popular move here for black is knight to e4. The idea is that we're counterattacking the knight. If I take, and then counterattack here. Now he plays d5, and it's a little bit of a different pawn structure compared to e5. Now he might play like rook f5 and then e5. Is the idea there. Instead, though, he does bishop d7. I stop knight to e4. And now, since e5 is very tough for him to play, his position is kind of difficult. White's plan is usually now to play e4 pretty soon. I could have done it here immediately. He would have played this. And then maybe I play e5. And now I'm kind of, attacking down the file with the rook there. Hey, Spinal Tap. So now this is kind of the idea here. Open up the e-file, put pressure on these two pawns with the combination of the bishop. That could definitely be an idea there. I played h3 first, though. He played b5, going for b4. I retreat. I don't want to exchange, because this just opens up the c-file, and now b4 is even stronger. Now the knight's pinned, so I can't exchange. I played bishop b2. He gets in e5. I take e4, f4, g4, knight there, queen d3, going for the d6 square. I guess the place he really went wrong is now he played knight c5, which does just give me a free pawn on e5. Instead, he should play probably just like, I don't know, queen e7 or something. Probably just queen e7, I guess, is okay. And then he could play knight c5 next move. Or knight b4. Or he could also play b4 himself if he really wanted to. Something like that might have been better. Knight c5, though, I played queen d6. I now pick up the pawn, pick up another pawn. Also, queen e7 is not so good because of the bishop a3 pin. And once he's just kind of losing a lot of material, it's pretty much over at that point. So we'll move on.